We're pleased to have on Maryland women's basketball's top scorer so far, Rutgers transfer, new to the program, but already kind of endearing herself to Terp fans, Kaylene Smikle. Kaylene, thanks so much for hopping on. We're looking forward to talking to you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So first off, I know that you've obviously made a huge impact here so far. When you committed to Maryland, did you have the idea that you'd be, averaging around 18 points a game? Clearly, some of the best scoring you've done in your career. Was that kind of the role they told you about, or have you even surprised yourself?
I think this is a role that I've had. I don't think my role changed when I transferred over to Maryland, so it kind of made it easier. Like they didn't try to kind of change how I play. They just wanted me to just be me.
When you got here, obviously, like coming from Rutgers, you were their leading scorer, as you said, ball dominant player, did a lot of the on ball work, but you came into a program that has two kind of perimeter heavy guards, Cheyenne and then Tabiasu, who obviously has played a lot of point guard. But I think the biggest improvement has been your 3-point shot. You've jumped, I mean, it's ridiculous right now, almost 50%. Did you make any changes this offseason, or has this just been a ridiculously hot shooting start? Like, why do you think that your shooting's gotten so much better this season than in the past?
Um, I think my shot is the same. It's just that I'm getting more open shots since we have more threats on the outside. So more of my shots are open. Like coming from Rutgers, I was like the main person. So a lot of everything was kind of on me. So having other people that you also have to focus on makes it just easier for me to get open shots and they're finding me too. So it's just the flow is just better in my like 3-point shot.
Right. Was that the main reason you transferred, was to play with more talented, guards, talented players?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Obviously, last season, you couldn't play against Maryland because you were injured at the time, but you were able to watch from the bench, I presume. Kind of from your point of view, what do you think the biggest changes from last year's Maryland team to this year's Maryland team are?
I think the depth. We have a lot of different players, and I think also height too. I don't know if they had bigger guards or even like athletic post at like Christina and Ali, and just we had just have like just such a big like bench. Like you can sub anybody in and they're gonna do stuff. You have Mir, she's very athletic forward. So I think just having a lot of people that you can sub in and we all play good together. So it's not like you only have a certain five that can play good together. Like you can mix match any of us and we'll still play the same Maryland basketball.
I know that part of that injury was, I remember reading that you talked about you couldn't walk for almost a month. And your brother and your family kind of had to pull you up and out of a mood a little bit. Take us through that journey and how hard it was for you, and then what kind of, I guess, the tough love, what kind of got you out of that funk that maybe you were in.
I think at first just, I mean, you wouldn't know what it feels like not to walk. So I think them telling me like, oh, you're gonna be out for this long in a scooter, which is like, okay, like I was ready for it until it actually happened and I couldn't do anything by myself. And I'm like, and I'm an independent person, so always needing somebody to help me do something, or I can't even just moving around, showering, just like the basic things that you do daily that you don't think of that would be taken away from me was just like it was a shock to me and I think that was hard. And also not being able to play basketball for so long was really hurtful because I never been injured before. So I've never had to take a break from basketball. So I think that was also hard. And just I have a great support with my family. They've been with me since forever, since I've been playing basketball. They've been my biggest supporters and they're always people I can rely on. And we have like a great trust. So just them telling me like, "Healing, you're gonna be okay. Like, just take it one day at a time." Because it wasn't like I was rushing through it, but it's like having like a timeline of when you'll be back, and it's just like, "Oh, I'm only 2 days in." Like, it's months to go, so it's just like they're just telling me to be patient with the process and just trusting God and just keep believing in yourself.
Yeah, you obviously have a lot of siblings. Is it nine? I think I read.
No, that's my mom.
Mom, okay, got
I'm
you.
one of four.
104. Come from a big family, and you guys built a court in your backyard, and I know I've read that your brother obviously talks about your willingness to win. Especially with an older brother, you have to have that a little bit.
Yeah.
What's the best story you have from a backyard game, where maybe your competitiveness shined through, or an AAU game even that you remember kind of being like, people were like, damn, like, yeah, she wants to win.
Um, I think it all started in my backyard, so I would just start there. I think that's where I've got the mentality that I have to never give up and go hard for as long as I'm playing because I've always played against all my siblings and cousins were always older than me. So I had to come with more energy than them, be more physical than them to beat them because they were so much stronger than me. So, they didn't look at me as a girl or I'm younger than them. I'm the youngest cousin, youngest sibling. Like they just treated me like they're one of them. And also when I was younger, I used to play with boys, so I think that helped me play the way I am now.
I feel like I have an older brother, and like there's no greater feeling in basketball than beating your siblings, being someone in your family. What do you think, kind of specifically, about like playing with boys when you're younger help shape your game?
It just helped me be more aggressive, and I think boys are just faster, stronger than girls. That's just how it is. So I think being able to play against boys and beat them just made it when I transferred over to playing against girls, it was just like it was a lot easier because it was so much less physical.
Now, Coach Frese is one of the most accomplished coaches in the sport. From your time in College Park so far, what have you seen from her that kind of sets her apart from other coaches that you've had and that are around college basketball?
Um, well, one thing I could say is that she's a great person. She's very genuine. I mean, you don't get a lot of people who, some people when people accomplish a lot, they kind of maybe like they're not humble, but she's like you would never know she accomplished as much because how humble she is. She's such a genuine person. And she always checks up on you to make sure like you're okay. Like she actually cares about who you are as a person. It's not always about basketball and, just winning. Like she genuinely cares about her players.
One of the things she does, and back to kind of the playing against boys topic, is you guys have an all men's scout team. Was that similar at Rutgers, or did you guys was it different?
Yeah, we had a all men's scout team.
So what is Cheyenne's talked about the shit talking gets good and it's a good relationship. How much do you think, like, take us through like what a scout team does, and specifically Maryland scout team? How much does that help you? Because obviously as like non-athletes ourselves, that's not something you always think about, but it's a huge part of the operation. So what's the relationship like between you guys and the scout team, and what do they do to help you prepare for, obviously now you're getting into Big Ten play, so it becomes even more important.
I think we're a family, so even if we're shit talking, like it's never coming from a bad place. Like they'll talk to us too. We'll gang up on them if one of us block them. We're running all in their face, telling them like, "Oh, you got blocked." So I think it's everything's out of love. And when we play games, they really help us prepare. They play hard. They try to kill us. They like out rebound us. They just do everything to make us lose. And I think we we don't like losing, so we play like so hard against them that when we come and play girls, that it's like it's just easier. Like what I talked about before, how I used to play against boys and then transferring over to playing girls is just like it's just so less physical. They can't jump as high. They just can't. Their dribbling's not as fast, so it just really helps us prepare.
To go back to kind of talking about transferring, obviously you stayed within the Big Ten. How important was that? And is that something you really consider? Staying in the Big Ten, knowing you play against similar teams. Obviously, four more teams joined, but how much did you consider how big that might be as Big Ten play approaches?
I didn't necessarily like it wasn't really like I was looking to stay in the Big Ten. It just kind of worked out. Maryland recruited me and I just when I came here, I loved the school, the coaches, the players. Family atmosphere is what I something I was looking for, like a genuine place. So I think this is Maryland is very genuine and it's a family atmosphere. So it just worked out that I stayed in the Big Ten.
But it wasn't something like you had to absolutely do when you started the transfer process.
No.
Got it. Well, first Big Ten game is on Saturday. You guys have had a lot of success in non-conference, starting the season 9-0. What do you think moving forward into Big Ten play is the biggest thing this team still needs to work on?
I think our defensive pressure. I think we have to dictate and speed teams up more. I think we just kind of let them run their plays. And I think that's something we're going to work on this week before Purdue. So I think that's going to be fixed. But I think putting more ball pressure and just making the team struggle more from our defense.
And then going back, you guys just played 3 games in 4 days. How does that set you guys up for, games later in the year, either Big Ten tournament or March Madness, just having that experience? Obviously the competition will probably not be the same as it will be in the Big Ten tournament, but just knowing you guys are able to consistently play 3 out of 4 days.
That just makes us know that we're ready for the long run. I mean, in the Big Ten, you don't really have 3 games in 4 days usually. So knowing that we could do this is just shows us that we're capable of playing maybe 2 games a week it's just like, and especially it's so early, so we're getting our legs under us. Once time goes on and we're accustomed to what we do and how we move, it's just gonna make it easier.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you. It was nice talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.